Church Tech Today. Today we welcome SendTree, Broc Seib. Did I say that right? I should have asked you that before we hopped on the call.
Seib.
Broc Seib, founder of SendTree, which is a great, fairly new messaging application and service for churches and ministries. Broc, welcome.
Yes, thank you. I'm glad to be here.
So tell us a little bit about how you came about founding SendTree and what you looked for in terms of individuating yourself in the market so you could really reach out to churches and offer them tools and solutions.
Yeah, sure. Well, I'm a software engineer, and after years of working for the university writing software for them, I always had this entrepreneurial itch, and text messaging was huge, and that always intrigued me and interested me. And there was an opportunity to create something on my own, so I decided I'm going to go for it. And small businesses, there are lots of people that can use text as a communication medium, and churches are certainly a perfect fit for what text can do.
Great. So what had you seen others kind of creating in the same space, and what inspired you to build some of the features into SendTree that you saw others maybe didn't have?
Well, first I wanted it to be just like as simple as possible. A person can get their own phone number and compose a message online, schedule them in advance, and push a button, and off it goes to hundreds of people.
Great. So one of the things we had talked about initially was that you could have unlimited numbers of groups. So for a lot of churches, you might have like the top level is all of the members, or anyone who's visited ever, to invite to like an all church picnic. Then you might have, women's ministry, you might have children's ministry, you might have youth ministry of multiple different kinds. So within that, you can load everybody up and then have each individual pastor or leader kind of separate a group so that they can text message each group as needed.
Yes, you can organize things into as many groups as you wish. So yeah, if you have, men's fellowship, you can create a group for that and put people in that group. If you have, seniors that get together, you have a group for those. You can put people in multiple groups. So however you wish to organize all of your contacts, you can do that. And people can opt in on their own. So, you may not have a list of all your people and numbers. You can just, tell people, sure, text the word join to this phone number, to your phone number, and it'll automatically be added to your list.
That's great. So are you able to give a different text ID number for each individual group within the church, or does the church just get one five-digit number, I think it is?
Right now it's set up so you get a 10-digit local phone number.
Okay.
Actually, we're working on getting a short code, so that will become a thing in the future. We're also working on having keywords in the future, so that you could maybe assign a particular phrase to a particular group, and someone could text that phrase and join that particular group directly. And right now you just text the word join and you're on the list.
Great. So say you're holding an event like a conference or something, and you want to, you probably have people from all different churches in the area, maybe some people from out of town, but people that might want to be connected in some way. So you could encourage them to join the list even though they're not maybe a church attender.
Sure, yes, absolutely. Yeah, in fact, you can take this phone number, when you create a SendTree account, you are assigned a local phone number that's yours. You're not sharing it with any other organizations. And you can publish that phone number wherever you wish. And you have other channels of communication to invite people to join.
So that'd be really easy to put a bit of text on your website, even on your homepage, inviting people to join.
Yeah, you can do that. In fact, a new feature we just turned loose of with someone we're working with is a copy and paste web widget that if you have a web administrator, they can go to a page on SendTree and copy and paste a few bits of code onto your own website. And now people can literally just type in their phone number, and it will help them join the list that way too. So that's another option.
Great. We love widgets. Go widgets. So what do you feel like is maybe the #1 problem that SendTree alleviates for churches?
Well, I mean, we're aiming for, of course, communication sorts of things. So, the obvious things are notifications and reminders, hey, seniors, breakfast tomorrow morning, or, youth service tonight at 6:30, Bible study this evening, men's bowling fellowship. These are the sorts of things that you might send out. But what it really comes down to is that it's ultimately about the relationship between the church and its members. And, we as humans, sometimes we just need the tiniest nudge to be more involved. We're all busy, and sometimes it's just those little tiny messages that's all it takes to make us more engaged and show up to things.
I totally agree. That's really great. So how, if a church is already using like a church management software, either web-based or desktop-based, whatever they're using, how does SendTree kind of work alongside that?
Well, I think alongside it is the right words. It means because it's a text service, everything's short. So this is not going to replace your newsletter or what you're doing with social media, but it's a good complement for that. You're going to have your major communications are already going to be in those emails, and then you should use a text message to supplement those things. People may know 2 weeks in advance that the picnic's coming up, but the day before is when you should schedule that text message to go out. And the beautiful thing about a text message is that it's so consumable. I mean, that's why it works so well. It has to be short, and it's on everyone's phone. There's no apps. No one has to install anything. It just shows up on your phone and you read it. So it's very effective.
That's great. You're right. I mean, it is probably the most digestible or consumable form of communication that we have today. I mean, that the only negative maybe is that somebody doesn't see it or hear it for a period of time, and maybe there's a lapse. But as far as you send it, well enough in advance, few hours or half a day or 24 hours, depending on the kind of event, I think you have a real good shot at increasing involvement. I've even seen some articles out there that have talked about how sending a text message the day before your church service can increase the amount of people actually coming to church. And I thought that's a really interesting point, that this can be used not just for special events, but even just for the main event, Sunday morning. Encouraging people to come. Hey, services are at 9 and 10:45. Pastor Tom is preaching on love, or whatever it is. Simple, short, sweet, consumable.
And it brings that back to your mind, brings us out of our busy mode.
Well, we already get text message for Little League baseball games. They text me and tell me when the game's going to be. The sports coaches text, and that's all weekend long. So it would be a natural fit for churches to also utilize that form of communication. So tell me a little bit about how your business model works and your payment options, because there's a few different ways that companies do things now. Some charge like a monthly fee. I think the majority probably charge like a set monthly fee for their services, and yours is just a little bit different. Will you explain that?
Yeah, sure. So we charge a flat fee, which basically covers your phone number, and then you pay for just what you use. So, for example, our introductory level is $9 a month, and you'll get your own local phone number, and then it's 3 cents per text message. So, for example, if you have 100 people that are going to receive the message that you send out, that one volley of messages would cost $3. So if you only send out 100 messages in 1 month, your bill would be $12. So that's a concrete example. I should also mention that SendTree is integrated with social media. So when you go to put a message together, you can also click a box for Twitter or Facebook and have the same message show up in those channels too, instead of going to all those places separately.
That's great. Does it schedule the social media out in advance like you can do with the text messages as well?
Yeah, sure. Anytime you create a message, you can choose to have it scheduled. So you would choose what group you want to go to, and that might also include going to Twitter or Facebook or both. And you can schedule to go out in the future.
Great. So that's a big plus because, I mean, we talk on Church Tech Today, we talk a lot about scheduling in advance your messages to get people, you know, maximum amount of involvement. And so that would be a nice addition to kind of have that social media component built in already. That's great. So tell me, you set up a little bonus for Church Tech Today readers. Tell me what that looks like and tell us the code they need to jot down.
Yeah, sure. I set up for the Church Tech readers the code CTT bonus. If you create a SendTree account and you use it for a while and decide you like it, if you make a deposit and you deposit $50, this code will give you an additional $5 deposited into your account. If you were to deposit $100, it will give you an additional $15. I should also mention, Lauren, that we do have, the way we handle like a free trial is we didn't want to put like a time limit for people to try this out. I mean, we don't know what people's calendars look like. So we decided to, if you create an account, we just give you $20. And you can spend that how you wish. You know, if you want to send a bunch of messages right away the first day, go for it. So we figured that $20 is probably enough to really get a feel for how this works.
Great. Well, I love it. Just like the cell phone industry is kind of moving to rolling over your minutes and your data and using what you actually, you know, paying for what you actually use. That's kind of how your company is strategically focused. So I appreciate that. I know that a lot of churches will appreciate the fact that they're only going to pay for what they use, and that it's a valuable service that'll work alongside with what they're already doing in church communication. So thanks, Broc. I appreciate your time today, and I look forward to understanding more and hearing about more churches using your solutions. I think they're really great.
Thanks, Lauren. Appreciate you having me.
Take care.
Thanks. Bye.